This video provides an overview of how to use the VR controllers as part of the Unlocking the Universe in 3D VR experience. So you'll first notice when holding the controllers and not using any of the buttons, if you'll have a 3D model of the hands. On the left hand, you'll also have a wristband with a series of buttons that we'll talk through shortly. Before I talk through the different types of interactions we're going to use, I'll bring up a model of the VR controller on the right hand. I'm doing this holding down the side trigger, which we'll talk through shortly. So the buttons that we'll be using is the side trigger on each of the controllers, the front trigger on each of the controllers, the thumbstick on each of the controllers, and also the flat Oculus button on top of the right hand controller. That Oculus button, if you press it with either the side trigger down when the controller is showing or just when the hand's showing, if you press that button, it allows you to quit the application. Okay, now that we've had an overview of the buttons on the controller that we're going to use, let's go through the interactions. So first, let's learn how to interact with buttons in the VR experience. So first, all the buttons besides those on the wristband can be pressed by using the pinky, ring, and middle finger that are bunched up together on either hand. So the way we do that is we basically go over to the button, use those three fingers, and push down on the button like so. Again, we can do that action in either hand. You'll hear a nice clicking sound to give you feedback that the button has been pressed. In VR, because we don't have any tactile feedback against or touch against a physical button, sometimes the judgment of distance can be a little bit hard to judge. So it's important that when we do press buttons in VR, that we push through them to make sure that we are pushing the button far enough. Now to the wristband. These buttons cannot be pressed with these three fingers. Instead, we're going to use the pointing index finger to press the button. In order to get the correct pose, make sure that your index finger is not resting or touching the front trigger. So we've got a nice pointing action. And then to press the button on the wristband, we just simply use the end of the index finger and push down on the button, like so. Again, remember it's important to push through buttons in VR because we have no physical feedback. So therefore that we make sure that we're actually pressing the button. You'll notice that the button will highlight blue and there'll be a clicking sound. You can either press this on the side, like I am doing so here, or press this directly on, like so. If you do press directly on, just be careful not to push too far, as sometimes you can register two button presses. Alright, now that we know how to press buttons in the VR experience, let's learn how to grab objects. So just down the right hand side on the table in front of me is a scanner. When we have our animated hand up, that is when we're not pressing any of the buttons, we can move that hand with the controller to hover over the object that we want to interact with or grab. Here you see, as I hover over that object, a nice white outline appears. That lets me know that the object can be grabbed. So I'm going to grab that object now by hovering over the top of it, waiting for that white highlight to appear, then press down and hold the side trigger. As I hold that side trigger, I'm carrying the object. As soon as I release that side trigger, I now drop the object. You'll notice when you first drop, because your hand's hovering over the object, the white outline will appear. When you move away from the object, it will disappear. So again, hover over the object, get the white outline to appear, hold the side trigger down, carry the object, and then release the side trigger to release the object. With the scanner, unlike other objects in the activities, we can actually activate the scanner by using the front trigger. So the way we do that is first grab the object, hold the object using the side trigger, and then press the front trigger to activate the scanner, like so. When we're in the activities, we'll see objects that will actually highlight when we point the scanner to them, and when we press that front trigger, the information about that object will appear, and some of the buttons will become enabled so that it can analyze that object. So let me just place that scanner back down on the table. So the last two interactions I would like to talk through is pointers. So we can use the pointer by bringing up the controller, holding down the side trigger, and you'll see I've got a light blue curved pointer. At the end of the pointer is a circle with some arrows, and that lets us know where we're going to teleport. So this curved pointer provides teleport functionality for us to move around our space. We can move the controller around to change the position where we want to land, and we can press that front trigger to activate the teleport when we're ready to move. So here I'm holding the side trigger down, positioning, pointing the pointer to where I'd like to end up, the position I'd like to end up, press the front trigger, and away I go. I teleport. The second part to a teleport is not being able to not only control the position, but also the orientation that I end up in. So here I'm going to use the thumbstick and rotate the thumbstick around. So the thumbstick on the top just there. I'm going to rotate that thumbstick around in order to orientate those arrows. I'm going to make sure those arrows are facing towards the spacesuit, and I'm going to teleport. So holding the side trigger down with the teleport function, with the pointer being, the controller being pointed at the floor, moving the thumbstick to the left here, and then pressing the front trigger allows me to teleport and face the spacesuit. Now the pointer in the VR experience is context sensitive, meaning that it can change based on what we're pointing towards. So here I'm pointing towards the ground, which is why I'm getting a curved pointer. When I point towards the spacesuit, I get a straight green pointer. That lets me know that I can interact this object at distance. So you can see that the pointer will change based on what I'm pointing towards. Towards the ground is a teleport, but towards the spacesuit is a straight pointer, allowing me to interact with it. To interact with that spacesuit, or to wear that spacesuit, I press the front trigger, like so. Now I'm wearing the spacesuit. So that straight pointer also works on the universe timeline. So let me teleport over there now. Again, pointing the controller at the ground brings up a curved pointer for teleporting, and then pointing at the universe timeline brings up a straight pointer to select the different panels. So you'll notice in the unlocking the universe VR experience,
signals from the cosmic dawn,
the panels with the pink dot,
the epoch of reionization,
highlight the activities,
exploring the first atoms.
And that's it. That provides you with all the interactions that you need in order to use the VR experience. I hope you enjoy it and have fun. Thank you.